What's up, Otaku fam? We are back. More reactions here for the channel with some more Gigguk. We have badly explaining the entire plot of Honkai Star Rail. You know what? Thank you, Gigguk, because we between nerdcore and just being on the internet in general, I see a lot of Honkai Star Rail stuff, and I have no idea what any of it's about. So here we go. Gonna learn me something good today. If you guys play Honkai Star Rail, let us know what you think of it down below, and if you enjoy it, favorite characters, things like that. I'm curious. The rest of you be sure to comment, like, subscribe. Every little bit helps. And check out the Patreon link down below for full uncut reactions, TV shows, animes, and movies. Let's hop on in.
Honkai Star Rail is a game from Hoyoverse and is one of their latest attempts to ensure I cry myself to sleep at night for not being able to collect my favorite fictional anime characters. You may know them from the worldwide sensation Genshin Impact on my credit rating, but this is not Genshin Impact 2 or Honkai Impact 4th. This is a completely standalone game about traveling across the universe, saving different worlds like Space Canada, Space China, and Space Birmingham, featuring some of the most canonically straight women you can find in gaming. This is a gacha game, which is a genre of game where the main goal is to pull for anime characters you are most physically attracted to, with an infinitesimally small chance of actually obtaining them. My personal strategy boils down to a simple flowchart, wherein if there is a new character I can respectfully refer to as Mummy, I will violently do everything in my power to try to acquire them, only to get jump scared at the sight of receiving a child.
Surprise, motherfucker!
I can assure you that the E5 Clara on my account was achieved totally against my will, and I am not trying to cosplay the protagonist from Black Bullet.
But Gigguk, what's the real gameplay?
That is the real gameplay. And yet Star Rail has tacked on an entire bonus game on top of that, where you can gather a team of people, which in my case by complete coincidence all happen to be attractive women, traveling around the cosmos, taking it in turns, smacking each other with increasingly pretty animation, which is commonly referred to in the industry as turn-based combat. Where I get all the turns. As you can see here, my team I've named Weeaboo Mother's Day can do what I thought was a respectable amount of damage to get me through the story missions, and then you log into YouTube and find out there are people hitting enemies with a goddamn phone number.
That's a lot of damage!
Did I mention this video was sponsored by Honkai Star Rail? Because this video is sponsored by Honkai Star Rail. See, over the years, the Star Rail team have given me money to get addicted to their game, that I immediately pay back through in-game currency, thus creating a self-sustaining economy with more stability than the stock market in the past 5 months. But today, Hoyoverse have given me my most challenging task yet. Understanding all of Honkai Star Rail. See, Honkai Star Rail has one of the most expansive stories, featuring intergalactic wars between cosmic gods, the entire plot of Starship Troopers with Kamen Rider, and the Lovecraftian nightmare creatures known as Twitch streamers, that most people don't even know about, because in order to access this information it requires one feat that most gacha gamers are physically unable to do. Read.
Yeah.
But as an ex-employee of the BBC with a master's in engineering, Hoyoverse can clearly see that my reading skills are unparalleled. The potentially cutthroat cohabitation
In the beginning.
and following the release of their biggest collaboration ever with Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works that's out right now, I thought I'd take a page out of my Fate days and break down the entire Honkai Star Rail universe for newbies and veterans, because sometimes when you're playing the game and hear a sentence like
Jing Yuan, one of the Arbiter Generals of the Cloud Knights and the Xianzhou Alliance on the Luo Fu, currently looking for disciples of Sanctus Medicus who are also trying to revive the Ambrosia.
you might as well be speaking to me in wingdings, but today I'll explain everything like you have the IQ of March 7th, and by the end of this video you will see that Honkai Star Rail is shockingly uncomplicated. And I can assure you, this is the short version.
Lovely.
God damn it, it's another child!
That's right. Steve Handjobs is back, bitches. Hello guys, it's been a while. Welcome to my second TED Talk where we talk about the Honkai Star Rail universe.
Let's go!
Now before we fully dive into the story, there are a few core concepts everyone needs to know so that you can fully understand everything that's going on.
Lay it on me.
Yes, I'm talking to you, dialogue skipper who lets every fight run in autoplay. I've definitely never done that myself. First and foremost, we have paths. But what is a path? I'm walking a path right now. No. In Honkai Star Rail, paths are totally different. See, they are these universal philosophical concepts that anyone can believe in and practice. That was a lot of big words for the average gacha player, so let me simplify it down for you. It's how you think, dummy. Let's say a person believes in preserving and protecting life. Well, they probably believe in the path of preservation. Get that, vegans? Oh, you hate conflict and think everyone should just get along? Well, harmony seems right up your alley. That's right. paths are to weebs in the Star Rail universe what astrology is to white women. In-game, this translates to different gameplay mechanics. A preservation character, for example, probably means they have a lot of shielding and can tank a lot of damage. Abundance characters, well, there's your healers. And destruction characters, destroy. Shit,
Everything.
damn, this is getting really complicated. And in universe, anyone who practices a certain belief of any path is called a path strider. They walk that lonely road, the only road that they have ever known. I think I just quoted Green Day. And in rare cases, any one being who explores the concepts of their path in its entirety, embodies the beliefs, practices the philosophies as deeply as one can, they can ascend to become an Eon. Eons are essentially these godlike beings that completely embody one singular path. Let's take Nanook, for example. He is the Eon for the path of destruction. What does that mean? He is a hater. He is a hater on a level that no other being has ever seen. He hates everyone, everything. His hatred transcends racism, sexism, because he hates everyone equally. His path represents the belief that the creation of the universe was a mistake, so he wants to destroy everything. Once again, proving that men would rather eradicate all life in the universe than go to therapy. Like, damn bro, you good? Can't you just like get a pint, build a log cabin, start a podcast like the rest of us? So my wife has actually just started playing Honkai Star Rail, and I have a quote from her about her interpretation of Nanook. He's just a little hottie with a body. Yes, okay, maybe he wants to destroy a universe or two, but he's just an edgy little bad boy. Shut the fuck up and look at those pecs. Look at that emo fringe. Let me nuzzle in that yellow chest, Gussie.
Sure, wife.
Now in the Star Rail universe, there are all these different factions that basically boil down to following one Eon. They see their philosophy and goes, you know what? We can make a religion out of that. Well, why don't they make a path for gooning? I bet I can be a follower for that path. Well, joke's on you, there is a path for that. It's called the Path of Propagation, and here is your Eon. Tazironth, an Eon whose sole motivation is to propagate and spread themselves across the universe, which was born out of a feeling of intense loneliness. He started self-replicating so much that he started a disaster that threatened the entire universe. So much so that other Eons needed to step in and be like, bro, can you stop gooning for 5 seconds? Imagine gooning so hard you almost wipe out the entire universe in the process. I wouldn't even be mad, I'd just be impressed. Honestly, knowing the Honkai Star Rail fanbase, that's probably the path they'd follow.
I knew you would come.
Now below the Eons, you have the Emanators. Now these are people that have been acknowledged by the Eons themselves and have been given extra powerful abilities from them, which is actually a big fat fucking lie, because most of the Emanators that we've met so far have never even spoken to that bloody Eon. But don't worry about that. Because one thing you come to realize is that just because a specific faction follows a specific Eon, that doesn't necessarily mean the Eon actually fucks with them. Like, there are some factions who can be like, we follow the path of destruction. Nanook is our god. And Nanook can be like, who is this man's? Why does everyone keep saying this is my man's? This isn't my man's. In summary, for all you power scalers out there, you got Eons at the top, then below them you got the Emanators, then below them you got the Path Striders and factions that follow the Eons' beliefs. Then you multiply this by 18, because that's how many paths are currently in Honkai Star Rail. And that's where the lore of Honkai Star Rail can be a little daunting, because there are so many characters, so many titles, so many factions. But when you break it all down, it all comes down to which path does a particular character follow. Everyone and every faction has a different drive and goal based on the path they follow. And all of the conflict in Honkai Star Rail revolves around the opposing beliefs that each Path Strider has. Did you get all that?
Yes.
Good. We can finally start at the beginning of the story.
Oh,
Our story starts at the Herta space station, an amalgamation of a bunch of nerds who have a hard-on for the one and only Herta the goddamn genius. Philosophical hard-on, not an actual hard-on, I assume. Yes, this is one of the smartest individuals in the entire universe. A sassy lost child. Or her puppet. You know what? We'll get back to that. Helping her run the place, you have a girl about as privileged as Sea-Dog VA, with diversity hires, and a dignified woman whose hobbies include theatre, desserts, and breaking the Geneva Convention. At the station, they research all things that piques this little shithead's curiosity. And it's here that we get introduced to the first factions that will play a massive role in the entire narrative.
At least you got that lake patched up.
The Nameless, which is an interesting name, because constantly in the game, people can be like, hey guys, I'm Himiko, I'm a Nameless. So what's your name? Himiko. Bruh. This faction follows the Eon of Trailblaze, Akavili, which is the path that we follow.
This is what
Akavili.
probably looked like. This recreation identifies
Akavili. They're all about traveling the universe, going on a bunch of adventures, making a bunch of friends, the Luffy of the Honkai Star Rail universe. And this is our Going Merry. The, train thing.
The train thing.
The Astral Express. I knew that. See, unlike other Eons who are too good to hang out with pathetic humans, Akavili was that cool older uncle Eon who'd hang around with the kids and occasionally sneak them beers when nobody's watching. Which, I have no idea about. They were just a chill guy. So chill, in fact, that one day they mysteriously just fucked off. Nobody knows where they went, if they're alive. It was just the ultimate Irish goodbye. Now, at the opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Antimatter Legion. Remember our favorite edgelord Eon Nanook? Well, he was so edgy that he inspired other edgelords who don't want anything other than to see the universe burn. So they just go around fucking up other people's shit in the name of Nanook, being an overall vibe killer, and conveniently show up whenever there's a Stellaron. Wait, what is a Stellaron? Now, come here, a little closer.
Oh god.
Listen up. Because Stellarons are massively important throughout the entire story of Honkai Star Rail.
You have no idea, do you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Look, all we're told is that they're these weird, mysterious things that pop up every now and again and bring disaster wherever they appear. Nanook loves them, probably because he has a hard-on for disasters, and his other name is the Cancer of All Worlds. Which leads us right here to our wildcard faction.
Okay.
The Stellaron Hunters. Why are they called the Stellaron Hunters?
Because they hunt Stellarons?
They hunt Stellarons. Innit? Right now we don't exactly know why we're hunting Stellarons, but what we do know is that one of the characters is named Kafka, and is probably the sole reason you first put money into this game. Don't lie to me, I see the date of your transaction history. What's this? I'm getting word from my producer that we actually have footage of Star Rail fans reacting to Kafka's introduction. Let's have a look. Jesus Christ, guys.
I knew you would.
And they actually kick off the events of this game because Herta, the goddamn genius Herta, thought it would be a great idea to leave a Stellaron hanging around somewhere on her station. And the game literally starts by Kafka breaking in and chest-fisting a Stellaron into an artificial body that awakens us, the Trailblazer. Yes, Kafka technically birthed us. That basically means that she is our mummy. Look guys, I don't make the rules, that's just the way it is. I'm just conveying to you the message Hoyoverse clearly wants us all to hear. This is literally the first thing you see when you wake up. And as a newborn, our first words were... This is also where we get to meet the current Astral Express crew, which is the crew that will be staying with us throughout the entire journey. First, we have Zoomies Incarnate, March 7th.
Zoomies Incarnate.
Not exactly the brightest girl. She's the type of girl who tried to solve the issue of racism by running, but that might be because she was found in this huge block of ice Avatar style and has no memories of the life she lived before. So she decided to name herself after the date they found her.
But Dad, I was born in September. Why am I named...
Shut up, drunk New Year's party January 1st. There is Dan Hung, the brooding quiet kid who seems to have a mysterious past. I have another quote from my wife about Dan Hung.
Of course you do.
I tried zooming in closely, but as you can see, he is not very hung. So that was a fucking lie, but okay. He ain't no bad boy Nanook. Then of course you have the mum and dad of the Astral Express. Welt, who is actually a character for Honkai Impact 3rd, but got lost there and woke up in the wrong game. And of course, this person, which is Himiko, but not this Himiko. This is a totally different Himiko from Honkai Impact 3rd, which is different from this Himiko, who is Himiko from Honkai Gakuen 2. And this is him. Miko from Genshin Impact, no relation. And this, of course, is Saber. The only Saber in the Honkai universe. So far. A little bit of trivia. One of the Hoyoverse founders, Dewey's favorite character happens to be Misato from Evangelion. And his favorite character from every Honkai game just happens to be Himiko. Alright, so I see what you're putting down. So with the Stellaron stuck in us and no other memory of where we came from, what else is there to do but to join the Astral Express crew?
I mean...
Because if we choose not to, the game ends there. Our first stop is Jirilo 6, a snow world stuck in a permanent ice age called the Eternal Freeze, leaving most of its landmass uninhabited, save for a few settlements. Yes, it's Space Canada. without the maple syrup.
It's
Here you
Canada.
can find legally distinct Joseph Joestar, legally distinct Ilya and Bazaka, and of course Vila and Bronya, who have a bit of a history. See, here they become really good friends, but not too good of friends, but just friends who bicker and fight sometimes, but they are still friends.
Right.
Good friends. But this is unlike other incarnations in the Honkai verse in different games, when they are also friends. That kiss. Kissy friends.
Kissy
but
friends,
here,
right,
in
right.
Star Rail, they are just friends. Now
Right.
kiss.
Now, Kia.
They're just friends.
They're just
The main
friends.
party you can find on Drilo 6 are the
you, little
architects, who are followers of the Eon of Preservation, Klipoth. And they're all about building walls and
Oh,
getting
no.
other planets to pay for it. They're led by the Supreme Guardian Kokolia, who is whoa. Her daughter is actually Bronya, and they lead the last settlement of humanity, Belobog. But Belobog has its own bog, and that's called the Underworld, which is under the world of Belobog, where they stick all the poor and stinky people.
Oh.
I'm guessing it's mostly stinky people. Why? Fucking society, innit? And the underworld is
Fucking
completely
society,
blocked
yeah.
off from the overworld because society, innit? Life is hard down here. It's dark and dirty, and people have to make ends meet by becoming miners and wandering into the great mines to find valuable resources. Somewhere, a Minecraft YouTuber is getting really excited about the mines, I mean, not the miners. The main enemy types here you can find are vagrants. Vagrants. Grants. VA Grant?
We'll just steal off the miners.
Look, life is hard down there, okay? Who cares if we steal from a miner or two? You guys are murdering us by the millions. So
Can we talk? That was a nice little reveal that he voices one of the favorites in the game. All right, Garn, I see you.
to keep it from becoming a lawless underworld, a group called Wildfire run everything down here. And they're led by Man, I don't know what system of government they have for electing leaders down here in Drilo 6, but I think they might be onto something. Things are certainly not optimal for Space Canada, thanks to the Eternal Freeze, but life
Right.
wasn't always like this. See, 1,000 years before the Eternal Freeze, Drilo 6 was a prosperous place. Intergalactic civilizations start visiting Drilo 6, hoping to get in contact with the natives. The architects set up shop, opened a few Starbucks, and everyone lived in harmony.
Until the Fire
Until the
Nation attacked.
Stellaron attacked. People started getting
so,
shook.
same thing.
Some pieced the fuck out, fearing the calamity it could bring, and this bad bitch named Melissa Rand starts building walls and settlements. Because, of course, the Antimatter Legion show up and are like, guys, come on, let us in. We promise we're not going to destroy anything. Okay, that was a lie. Okay, we're joshing you. We're going to do a little bit of destroying. Starting a 30-year-long war, pushing
30
humanity to
years?
its brink. And in desperation, Alyssa Ran hits up the Stellaron and is like, hey, Mr. Stellaron, so can you, like, help us get rid of the Antimatter Legion? You can use any means necessary. By any means necessary. Yep. You do realize I'm a Stellaron, right? You know, bringer of calamity, destruction, disaster. What's the
What's
worst that
gonna happen?
Okay. So the Stellaron
freeze.
decides to turn the thermostat down a bit. The Antimatter Legion go, "Brrr, it's cold, I'm out of here. Congratulations, Alyssa, you've successfully repelled the Antimatter Legion. Yay! What's the catch? You've wiped out all other life and made this planet totally uninhabitable. Fuck. And thus begins the Eternal Freeze, until we show up. So what's the storyline of Drilo 6? Bitch be wildin'. We rock up in our space train, knock over some trash cans,
that way,
kick
don't
some
make me
Antimatter
lazy.
Legion ass, and we're all like, don't worry guys, we're here to save you from the Stellaron. To which Kokolia replies, oh, you here to save us? Is that what I heard? Go to jail. Because little do we know, the Stellaron has actually been whispering in her ear, being like, psst, hey, wouldn't it be bants if you just, I don't know, destroyed the world and rebuild it anew? Oh my god. I love Code Geass. Boys, what we say? She a 10, but she wants to wipe out all life from the planet. So the entire storyline of this arc is just us trying to take down a mom who's gone a bit loop-de-loop. And it all
Right.
comes down to one final showdown where everyone teams up. Nameless versus Stellaron. Mother versus daughter. Where we immediately get stabbed. Well guys, that's it. Game over. Pack it up. It's over.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate.
Get that cup of Klopof's aid, get a new preservation form, and beat the fuck out of her with the power of rock music and this giant fucking robot bloody mega fisting her into the ground.
Hell
God
yeah.
damn, this sequence was awesome. Wait a minute. Oh man. Bronya, having killed Kikolia with her own hands, is left in tears, knowing she did the right thing, but still processing the death of her own mum. Then March 7th comes in like, hey guys, wasn't that so fun? Let's go to the pub and grab a pint. The second one is sealed, Bronya becomes Supreme Guardian, the underworld is opened up, no more stinky people, and of course, Zila and Bronya continue being friends. Job done. Now we move on to it's China. It's just China in space. Humans, furries, and scalies live in unison on these ships, with each ship housing different races and cultures with names I can barely pronounce. Here you can find people like Space Kongming, Kindergarten Death Battles, Sassy Lost Child version 2, Daniel, the cooler Daniel, and Blade, the embodiment of Black Air Force energy, literally saving up centuries of hatred, going around looking for just one thing. A way to die. And he looks like this. And he calls himself Blade. Bro is canonically hundreds of years old and hasn't mentally matured past the age of 14. Now for this story, we're just focusing on the but it is just one of 6 ships, all together forming the Xianzhou Alliance, which can also be split up into different divisions run by different groups of people that sometimes have guilds within them, causing factions within factions within factions within factions within factions within... Meaning every character we meet here has a title about as long as your average light novel name, like they jack off every time Daenerys Targaryen introduces herself. It would take this entire video length just to break down every faction within this one ship. So we are going to focus on what is most important for the main conflict, and that revolves around the long life species that you can find on the ship, which are species that can live
a long time,
as opposed to the short life species, or baby men, which is what I imagine they're called by the long life species. First off, we have Foxians, who are fox-like beings with fox-like characteristics, and on the furry scale, they land about here.
And the semi-furry,
right? I think that's still good. You know what? Let me check with my local furry expert. Yo, D, how does that look?
What the fuck? How would I know?
Come on, D. You know why.
So don't worry, facial mage. You guys are still safe. It's not too late yet. Xenozone 0 players, please seek professional help. Then we got the Vidiharas, Videharas, Vidimhara, Vidimen. These are people with dragon-like characteristics who are functionally immortal. But instead of going through one long lifespan, they go through a cycle of rebirth, where after a certain age, they get reborn while their body gets repaired and lose all their memories. In a process the FBI calls Schrodinger's lolly, where characters can canonically be both 13 and 1300 years old at the same time. And lastly, we got the Xianzhou natives, who bring the main beef to this all-you-can-eat buffet. Many years ago, the Xianzhou Alliance traveled the stars to search for immortality, where they just happened to run into the Aeon of Abundance, Yao Shi. Now Yao Shi, she's a giving Aeon, maybe a bit too giving, but don't worry about this part of the title. She sees everyone turn up asking for immortality, and she's like, you get immortality, and you get immortality, and you get immortality. What's this I'm holding in my hand? Just don't worry about it. Don't
not the monkey's
So she plants this big ass tree called the Ambrosia Arbor that allows anyone who eats its fruits to become immortal. Yay for trees, guys! We love trees! But unfortunately for the Xianzhou natives, they get so much immortality and live for so long that eventually they fall into madness and the body mutates into this zombie tree-like thing.
so Hell's Paradise.
Yes. And so once everyone realizes that immortality isn't everything it's cracked up to be, they all start to turn on this all-giving Aeon of Abundance. And it's like, fuck you, fuck everything you stand for, fuck all your followers, and fuck your stupid little arms. And look, I'm not gonna lie.
Damn.
I actually kind of feel bad for Yao Shi. Like, aside from this, there was also a time when the Foxians were going through a famine on their planet. So in desperation, they ask Yao Shi to give them some food. She plants so much food for them that eventually it spurs a population explosion that kills their ecosystem and destroys their planet. Like, when are people going to learn that her name is the Aeon of Abundance, not the Aeon of...
Here. Can I help you?
She loves you so
You're doing
much.
a lot, little. Hey.
She loves you so much.
Hey. Can I? Are you good? Stop looking at everything.
This is the best day ever.
Stop looking at everything. Here. Give me my headphone cable back.
She's like, Dad, hold me.
I'm trying. You're slipping.
Dad, hold me.
I'm trying. Stop. Give me my hand back. Now enjoying the puppy ASMR.
This is good soup. She's like, yeah, you can play
Okay, just tell me when. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, yeah, you can stop now. That's enough slices. Because in response to the immortality epidemic, everyone on the who changes their path to the path of the hunt. Now, the path of the hunt is similar in philosophy to the path to destruction, but unlike Nanook, who is like, fuck everyone, the hunt is more like, fuck you, just you. Fuck you in particular. Like the union of the hunt, Lan, is the self-proclaimed sworn enemy of abundance and will go around endlessly eradicating any followers of Yao Shi. Bro's got more generational hatred than Dio does for the Joestar lineage.
Oh, that's
and
crazy.
poor Yao Shi is just in the corner sitting down going like, guys, I don't mean to victim blame, but you literally did ask for it. So they commit a bit of casual deforestation, destroying this immortality granting trees because fuck trees, am I right? What the fuck have trees done? Supplying oxygen and immortality to people. Puh, I spit on you. So what's the Lao Fu storyline? It's this tree and a Stellaron. Because of course it's a Stellaron. We hear a rumor that there's a Stellaron on board the from Kafka. And you know what happens when Kafka goes fetch? We go, and it seems like someone's gone and fucking done it by planting a Stellaron at the root of this tree, causing it to resurrect along with this deer tree thingy. But who could have done such a thing? Turns out, not everyone agrees that immortality is a bad thing, so they all gather together in secrecy, forming this weird-ass group called the Disciples of Sanctus Medicus, who looked at the way everyone was hating on Yao Shi and was like, I know Yao Shi, yeah, she crazy, man. She fucking sucks. God, I hate her guts. Can't let go know I secretly fuck with this. Little do we know that there's a real mastermind orchestrating everything from behind the scenes. That's revealed to us at breakneck speed. Yep, it was a real plot twist. Someone got Thanos snapped out of existence. Alright, I'm gonna go watch some TikTok chiropractor videos now. You'll never be able to guess who it is this time, lads. That's right, the fucking Antimatter Legion are at it again. And this time is one of their head honchos, Fantilia, who is one of Nanook's emanators. And she takes the form of, god damn! Pretty sure Thanos had to clap for this one. Yes, this entire thing was just the Antimatter Legion trying to destroy the from within. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for Dan Heng, who is secretly a dragon person, because Dan Heng is actually the reincarnation of Dan Feng, the cooler Daniel, not to be confused with Dan Sung or Dan Dung, who also has a history with Blade, because they used to be really good friends, but not too good of friends. But according to some of the lore you can find in some of the relic sets, they were what you call bosom friends. Hey, yo, what? Well, that's all in the past now, because Blade actually hates Dan Heng, because Dan Heng was previously Dan Feng, and Dan Feng committed a crime which caused Blade to be immortal. So Blade now hates Dan Feng, but he got reincarnated to Dan Heng, so they are no longer bosom friends, they are bosom enemies. Now kiss.
That's a lot.
Is anybody else's brain mush already? Cool, as long as it's not just me.
They're just enemies, guys! So we get another team up. Dan Feng returns and parts the fucking waterway, Moses style. We take down the second mummy boss of this game so far, and this boss music is an absolute prop. That's it.
You are full.
Done. Alright, this video is getting a bit long, so what do we got next? Fuck my life. Welcome to Penacony, the land of festivities, where the game goes from just taking a few hours to complete all the story missions to a lot more. This world is the legally distinct Disneyland for people who look like this, bringing in
So
the
it's the
wealthiest
golden
and most
saucer.
privileged individuals from all around the universe thanks to its main attraction, the Dreamscape.
TikTok, our friends awake and asleep. Welcome to...
Fuck me, is that Tiki Mouse? The Dreamscape is like if Inception
Tiki
and The
Mouse.
Matrix had one big incestuous baby. It's a lucid dream world you share with all the other attendees there where anything is possible. Get blackout drunk without having a hangover? Go for it. Oh, that's just fucking Tuesday at Spoons, innit? Gotcha! In your gacha game.
Gotcha in your gotcha
But spending
game.
your real life money wasn't enough. Not even fall damage can kill you, which would be relevant if Star Rail actually had a jump button. Here we'll run into people like Dr. L plus Ratio, the real gacha man. My little sister. My little sister can't be this cute. And just another totally normal cute anime girl here. Nothing to see here, guys. Just another cute wiped out to your collection. And of course, season 20 of my favorite Hoyoverse anime. Can a girl-girl friendship survive? Now, kid. I need an adult. This is also where we get introduced to a plethora of new factions because they've invited everyone under the sun to attend. So I'm going to try and keep this as fast as possible.
Oh, no.
Starting things off with one of the biggest factions in the Honkai Star Rail universe. The IPC. The IPC is like if the IRS, Amazon, and the S&P 500 came together and made one big incestuous baby. And don't ask why I keep saying incestuous baby, it's not that deep. It is the mega corporation of mega corporations, controlling all business transactions from across the universe. Its mere concept is enough to give Jeff Bezos the biggest morning wood of his life. They supposedly follow our old friend Klipov, the Eon of Preservation, but the IPC believes, unlike the architects from Jarilo 6, that they need one thing and one thing only to help Klipov meet their goals.
Money. Yeah.
And they've sent one of their representatives, Adventurine, to try and get some of those big fat Penacony profits, which is
Right.
on brand because one of his attacks is literally beating the fuck out of you with money. He's not even rich. He's just reckless about spending his money.
It's like the dude from Bungo Stray Dogs. Which if you guys haven't watched Bungo Stray Dogs, in one of the later seasons, there's literally a character, the villain character, who comes from America, whose special power is the more money he has, the stronger he is. And he can spend that money to unleash ultimate attacks, depending on how much money he spends on it. I've never heard of a more American thing in my entire life.
Honestly, I vibe with that. You have the Galaxy
eyes.
Rangers, which in this case comes in the form of Boot Hill, who is a space cowboy and is like playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with parental controls on.
Son of a nice lady.
There's Acheron, who pretends to be a Galaxy Ranger, but really, her true identity is the Emanator of Nihility, which makes her pretty damn powerful. Now, Nihility is all about a state of nothingness or non-existence, so I don't know how she got the job, but I assume it went something along the lines of, you got the job. Wait, what? There's Black Swan. Now her whole thing becomes a lot more relevant in the next world, so we'll come back to her. There's this one girl from a faction called the Masked Fools who is not too relevant right now, but I just want to mention their Eon, because their entire path philosophy seems to be Lamau, why not? Like this one time, made one of their emanators a worm. A fucking worm. Like, can you just imagine all the Eons out there vying for power, and Aha's just there in the corner like, he turned into a worm. Funniest shit I've ever seen. The Stellon Hunters are back at it again, this time sending in Firefly, who has a sad backstory because she has space cancer or some shit, but most importantly, she takes you on a date. A date. And then she ended up crashing top-up services and breaking every revenue record Star Rail had on release. Like, come on, guys. Are we such simple creatures? Are we just that easy to manipulate? Why are you showing footage of my Firefly? And all these different factions gather together on Penacony, because Penacony is run by a group called The Family. That's run by a man named Gopher Wood, who has 2 adopted children in Sunday and Space Taylor Swift. And their security is run by Gallagher, right here. Finally, Star Rail adding a proper daddy to their roster.
I'm 13.
Goddamn. My boy's aging at the speed of white. And their history ties right into the founding and main storyline of Penacony, because before Penacony was this luxury vacation spot, it was a barren desert with a rather embarrassing leakage problem. Because it was leaking Memoria. What is Memoria? It's memory cum. Alright, if you want a more detailed explanation,
I don't know
memoria
if I
is the
do.
substance that serves as a vessel for human memories and consciousness that seems to be some sort of physical manifestation of memories or mental energy that can sometimes group together in high concentration and can have a negative impact if a normal human is exposed to it for too long. It's memory cum. So the IPC sees this and thinks, money. Turning Penacony into a prison planet where they send all their prisoners to help fix the Memoria leaks. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I was meant to be mining, I think. Yes, everyone thought Penacony was meant to be Vegas, but think about it. Former prison colony, barren deserts, pokies everywhere you look. This is fucking space Australia. Eventually the prisoners spend so much time around Memoria that they begin losing their absolute dicks and they start to enter a shared dream world, like the ultimate VR gamers in a shared server. Now what do all gamers dream of doing together? That's right, rising up. They rise up against the IPC, take back the planet, and of course this is the perfect time for a Stellaron to come in and be like, "Why, hello there. Allow me to introduce myself." With the planet in utter chaos, this is when Shipe, the Eon of Harmony, descends down and tells them, "Yes, it is I, the Eon of Harmony. Can you, like, stop being so not harmonious and stuff?" Nice rack! So Shipe helps the prisoners integrate into the family. They split up into 7 different factions, which eventually becomes 5, giving them control over Penacony with no more IPC. Yay, we did it, guys! We beat capitalism! And so then the family thinks to themselves, wait guys, hear me out, crazy idea. What if we turn this shared dream world into a commercialized vacation spot where all the rich people spend all their money, and we can even throw this big festival called the Charmony Festival where we only invite the most important people from around the universe to attend. Yay, capitalism! Now as followers of the Harmony, a path all about getting along well with each other through mutual trust and cooperation, you'd think the family would be just a bunch of chill dudes. Well, that would be the case if the leader wasn't secretly getting his dick wet for another Eon. See, Eons might seem like these immortal, everlasting, godlike beings, but they can actually be slain, and some of them can even be absorbed into other Eons. Which is exactly what happened to Enna, the Eon of Order. Now, Enna is all about controlling the masses through strict oppressive means to maintain order. She is the final form of your Asian mum when you tell her you're getting an art degree. But like every good Minecraft YouTuber, bitch just became irrelevant, and eventually Shipe came along and assimilated Enna inside of her, which is essentially an Aeon getting bored to death. I don't know why I wrote that sentence. But unfortunately for Penacony, this Asian mum is the Eon that the head of the family secretly follows. They don't want the new hotness. They want old and busted. And so the head of the family comes up with this plan to resurrect Enna and leaves it to his adopted son, Sunday, to enact it. Now, Sunday is a man with a strong personal philosophy. He just wants everyone to be happy, even if the happiness comes from sheltering people from the harsh realities of the world by force. And he thinks this way because he saw a bird once. Okay, well, there we go. All right, I'll leave you for a second. We'll come back to him. He wants to activate the Stellaron, putting Penacony into a permanent dream world where people can't wake up from it. It will be a perfect paradise with no conflict, no pain, no suffering, and no illness, where people are completely unaware that it's a dream.
So it's Madara's infinite Tsukiyomi plan. To which, to this day, I think was an actual pretty good plan.
Just go to sleep.
Oh, he's the bad guy, right? I'm sorry, free will. People don't get free will. Yay for free will. I always choose free will. I say 3 hours into my TikTok scrolling sesh being mindlessly fed videos I didn't choose, finding my life increasingly dictated by algorithms. Yeah. Because if there was one thing Sunday didn't account for, it was us, the trailblazer. Because we turn up to the final battleground because is he still talking about the bird? Let's give him a minute, I'm sure he's almost finished.
8 hours later.
To fashion a cage for it.
Oh shit. Because we turn up to the final battleground because a little birdie wants to, oh for fuck's sake. And this all culminates in one of the most hype moments of the game so far, where we take on this heavenly mechanical conductor thing while fucking Space Taylor Swift sings in the background and we throw a goddamn train at it. Yes, we beat the final boss by driving a fucking train into it.
Train-kun.
It was fucking beautiful. Look guys, all I'm saying is, I'm not an Idol fan, but
oh, is this the song?
The IPC come back and acquire some shares of Penacony, which somehow ends in us getting 5%, which I mean, yay,
Capitalism.
And then Black Swan hitches a ride with the Astro Express, along with the newly reformed Sunday as well. All right, Sunday, I know you just tried to take over Penacony, but we're cool with that. We're cool. I can forgive that. Just, if you're going to be here, can you just not talk about any birds? Is that cool? Are you cool with that?
Go and find a bird.
Let's fly off to our next destination. This brings up to our final stop so far and Star Rail's most ambitious story yet. Amphorius. Now, at the time of writing this, Amphorius' arc is not currently finished, so we're not going to get too heavy into spoilers, so I'll just give you a basic overview of what this world is about. Welcome to the world of God of War. In space, a world themed about the Greek mythos that nobody knows anything about. It's so shrouded in mystery that even Akavili did not visit this place when he was trailblazing around the universe. Come on, Akavili, mate, get with it. How the fuck do you miss this place? And the only reason we know anything about it is because of Black Swan. Remember when we said we'd come back to her? Well, Black Swan is a member of the Garden of Recollection, and they follow the Aeon Fuli, the Aeon of Remembrance. This path is all about preserving memories and keeping records of everything that's happened so no one forgets anything, which is useful for anyone over the age of 30. Because if you've been paying close attention, you may notice that every world's been themed around a certain path. We've gone from preservation to abundance to harmony, and now we are here at Remembrance. We even get our own remembrance powers by adopting this cute little pink feline called Mem, who stays with us on our journey and constantly talks in our ears. And wait a minute. Oh no, this is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. But what is this world all about? Well, remember at the start of the video when I said try not to be intimidated by the amounts of eons
it's my
out
emergency
there?
food.
Well, apparently that wasn't enough information because Amphorius has its own godlike beings that are not eons or emanators. They're called Titans, and they created the world of Amphorius. And there are 12 of them. Oh,
lovely.
God, by the end of this game, I swear, Star Rail's gonna have more mythology than actual mythology. All right, lock in, gang, because I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly.
I can't do it.
War and death to the planets. All right, you get all that? No? No one was listening? Well, that's okay, because unless you actually want a deep dive on how each Titan story ties into the world, all you really need to know is that all of these Titans came from these things called core flames that was given to Amphorius by an even higher god. Who is this higher god? I don't know. I'll never tell. XOXO, Gossip Girl. I don't actually know. The most notable Titan you should be aware of, though, is Kefle, the world-bearing Titan, who created the humans of this world and is the site of humanity's last stronghold. Because everything was chill until the Black Tide came along and fucked everything up. Wait, it's the Black Tide this time and not a Stellaron? That can't be right. Stellaron! Stellaron! Where are you? I know you're hiding somewhere here, you son of a bitch. The Black Tide is this mysterious corrupting force that turns people into fucking fent-out tweakers. It destroyed multiple cities and turned several of the Titans mad. And so, to avoid corruption, Kefle just goes, dun 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 dun, fucking blue screens himself, but not before bestowing a prophecy upon humanity. 12 chosen heroes with golden blood will appear, strong enough to defeat the Titans and take their core flames, ascending to become demigods. Only then will humanity come to a new era of prosperity. I don't know why I said come. These heroes will be known as the Amphorius 5-star units. Or the Chrysos. And that's the basic premise of Amphorius. We go around kicking the shit out of the Titans with the Chrysos heirs, jacking their core flames, and letting Hoyoverse spend their budget on these very beautiful alt animations. You have Tribios, who despite her looks is already a demigod, along with Aglaia, who has the core flame of the Titan of Romance. And all I'm saying is, she can romance me any what? There's Castris, who is She's okay. Nothing much to say about her story, actually. Damn. And of course, you have Mighty and Phynon. Mighty, who is an Angie boy, who I swear to God is trying to compete with Sung Jin Woo for Aura Farmer of the Year. And then you have Phynon, who is a good boy. the goodest of boys. And he goes through a lot. Together they make a great team, except they would do if they weren't bitter rivals who compete in absolutely everything they do.
Right,
but guys,
of
it's
course.
actually really early because they actually care about each other and they're just trying to bring out the best in each other because they're the
Keith.
best of friends, but they would never admit that because they're bitter rivals. You know, I would say now kiss, but I'm pretty sure they already kiss each other goodnight. And that's the setup for Amphorius in a nutshell, which is the bare bones surface level explanation for all the things hiding underneath this world. I will say there have been some developments in the overarching story arc, but what I will say is that compared to previous arcs, the setup and execution is actually far more straightforward than what we've seen in Star Rail before. We are just over halfway through the story arc right now, and I will say, as an aside, it is actually shaping up to be my favorite Star Rail story arc and world so far. I don't need that. And of course, that leads us to the final development in the Honkai Star Rail universe, the fated crossover with Fate Stay Night's Unlimited Blade Works. I see what he did there. Woo! We fucking did it, guys! I don't know how, but it actually happened. Now, this storyline isn't like all the previous storylines.
Oh, Duramoon's back too? Oh,
Story.
Lord.
Think of it as a beach episode with no beach and just a holy grail. We head back to
big
Penacony, where one of the heads of the families, Oti, was messing around, where he just stumbles upon a holy grail. But not just any holy grail, it is a mini holy grail.
Oh, a
Bro,
mini
I'm lucky
holy
enough
grail.
to find
Of
£5
course.
in my pocket, and then there's this guy stumbling upon a bloody holy grail, and so he decides
It's just
to
a mini
host
holy
his
grail, don't worry
own
about
mini holy grail war. Now,
Of course
any
he
true
does.
Fate fan would know that the holy grail war is always held in secret with no way for the public to know. But this one is different. OT holds a public Holy Grail war, and I assume charges people more than your average influencer boxing match to watch the bloodbath unfold. 4 summon famous people from Penacony, where some of them mess up and accidentally summon some familiar faces from a different universe. Wait, wrong universe, wrong universe! As one of the masters, the Trailblazer accidentally summons the King of Knights themselves.
Of course we do.
Saber, Adventurine somehow summons Archer, and of course, Boot Heel gets our favorite son of a nice lady, Lancer, who is alive. And Berserker's master and servant
Glad I
is
loved him.
Oti. He's Berserker's Star Rail's master and servant.
Which Berserker?
But we have Berserker right over there. And that's it. The collaboration is out right now, so whether you're a Fate fan or a Star Rail player or you're both, go get it while you can, gamers. And that completes my very quick rundown of Honkai Star Rail. Look, this game has only been out for about 3 years, and I'm not gonna lie, there is so much lore and so much story to go through that I had to cut a ridiculous amount out of some of these worlds. This was all meant to just be a very basic introduction into the entire world and story of Star Rail, and even then, it somehow is even longer than my Fate video. So if you want to get the full picture, there are already some very talented content creators covering this topic, or you know what? You can just go play the game yourself, because while this is the short version, I will categorically say this now, that there will never be a long version from me. But who knows what the future holds.
Woof woof. My brain is complete mush after all of that. I think I was following along really well for probably the first 20 minutes or so, and then you lost me.
We started saying names, and I was like, I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention really to the names. It was just more so of how the worlds function and the overarching plot. I get that. Like, I'm following you on that. But, you know, you lost me about halfway through. Things were just happening. Complicated things. Bosom buddy things. Now, I do think it's cool that they put Fate in there and that they used some of the most popular characters for them. So, I mean, that makes sense. I'm sure that got them a lot of new players and will continue to get them a lot of new players. Yeah. I feel like especially for games like these, Fate always
That's a
do
good
really
one,
well for
yeah.
collaborations. And sometimes Ruby. It sounds surprising when it happens, but it makes sense every time it does.
I think Fate has cooler characters. Though.
Oh yeah, because Fate's
cool-
got nothing
cooler
but
classes.
cool characters. I'm surprised Gilgamesh isn't in that bitch.
He might be.
Apparently, it's those three in Berserker. They didn't see which Berserker it was.
Yeah, it's still kind of new though.
I hope they had Gilgamesh in there. That'll definitely
Maybe a
do it.
problem.
He's the best problem.
Yeah, sassy.
Well, guys, I don't think I'll check out the game, but now I at least have context.
We now know what it means.
I now have context on some of the characters, so now when Nerdcore continues to make songs
You'll know.
for Honkai Star Rail, I'll at least have a generalized idea of who said character is and what they're about, unless they do a new character, and then I'm lost again. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Thank you guys for the continued support. We will see you for the next video. Bye. Thank you, Gigguk, for doing God's work.